Okay, we ready? 5 o'clock. Before we do the roll call, just want to remind everybody that the workshop meetings are audio and video taped. Jesse, roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Councilmember Donlin?
Here.
Chair, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Chair
it's okay.
Donlin.
Whatever. We're both here.
Chair
Sure.
Donlin? Fisher?
Here.
Okay, notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 9th, 2021. So let's start off with Greg.
Okay. Unfortunately, I got a lengthy list tonight.
All right, I'm sure Rob has a lengthy list of questions for
He
you.
didn't ask me any early questions.
We didn't have our meeting today. So. We didn't have our meeting yesterday.
There you go.
Okay, first item, 2022 road program. We're preparing the preliminary assessments. We got authorization to put that out to bid last month. We're getting the preliminary assessments to go out to all the neighbors, so they'll get those in the beginning of December, then we'll put that out to bid in December. Okay, the 21 program, we're preparing the final concrete assessments, because that program is coming to completion. So that's a good thing. So they'll be getting those sometime probably. We're gonna space them out, but they'll probably get those in January. It's just gonna overload Jesse if we do these all at one time. And then we got the 2020 road program, which the final assessments are being sent out next week for that program, because that is done. One of the things we'll talk about a little later, I guess maybe I'll talk about it now since it's a road program. When we talked a couple meetings ago, we talked about the water company paving a number of roads in town, so it saved us some money. So we're looking at some of the things we can use that money for. And one of the last roads that the water company paved was Marion. It's about 700 feet long. It's over down the southern part of town. And they paved half of it, and within an hour, I think I had 3 or 4 of the residents call me up, when you pave the other half. So, I explained to them I didn't pave that half. They said, well, you're gonna pave our half. I said, well, I didn't want to tell them I had the money to do it. I said, obviously I need your approval and your consent to do it. So I told them that I was coming to the meeting tonight to explain that we had the money and we can do it, my recommendation to do it. So even some of them may show up at the meeting after this. I told them there wasn't a need to, because the council usually goes along with my recommendation. Just in case you may have a few residents from Marion showing up at the meeting tonight.
From where, from Marion?
Marion, but
Okay.
we have the money to do it. It's half the road. I think we should do it. We did survey it to make sure we don't have any puddles or anything, so that'll be one place I think we can use some of the money. And the other was, one of the things we've been talking about is that path between Roller Road and Sunset.
Yeah.
We were gonna put that in the 22 program. I have enough money, I'm getting prices to do that now. So depending if the weather stays good, we can probably pave those in the next month or so. If it doesn't, we'll pave them in early spring. But those are 2 of the things we're looking at. There's a couple of little infill roads we're looking to kind of do. Problem I have, it kind of handcuffed a little bit, because I can't do anything that's concrete, because it's not in the assessment district. So therefore, everything we do has to have no curb and no concrete apron. So those are kind of few and far between, but little roads that I can find here and there, which I whittle down the funding left, we'll do all those.
Okay.
I know I'm a JPP guy, so is the next phase also gonna fix what's still left between the buildings? So you did a great job east of the buildings, where the flooding was. West of the buildings, the roads are all
Beat up.
bad. Yeah, so is that part of the, is
Yeah.
that gonna be, okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. I kind of stayed away from it this year because we talked about getting rid of that building with the
Right.
school, and we're gonna merge
Yep.
and make a new building, so I stayed away from that for this year.
That's fine.
Yeah, but that'll be in the spring.
Okay.
Okay, the next one, the 5G system, that ordinance has been kind of floating around with me, and they submitted a map that kind of shows coverage for the whole town. So what I'm recommending, I'm gonna issue, or give you a copy of a draft ordinance that they want us to look at. So maybe we can discuss that at the next workshop meeting, but I'll send it to Matt and Dave and everybody, so we can all kind of get used to it. It's generally what it is this one company's looking to be an overall, I'll say, holder of all the licenses for all the poles, which I think is good for the town, because then we don't have Verizon coming in and saying, well, I want these 20 poles today, come back 3 years later and there's a big gap because they're gonna take the hot spots and the 20 poles over there. These guys kind of have the right to put all the poles in all the town, and as the demand comes up for poles and service, they're already approved essentially. They just have to come in for their building permit to put it in. But you'll see all that in the ordinance when it comes out. I'll try to get that to you, well, next week's the week, but probably by the end of next week, it'll be in your mailbox with a draft ordinance.
Is this company doing this nationally, locally, regionally?
I don't know about national, they're definitely in the state. They are, a licensed utility in the state.
So the draft ordinance is coming from the company?
No, it's one that I've actually
Or
done in
one
another
from you?
town. Yeah,
Is it the
we've
one
done
that you've sent to us before, the one that you?
And it's slightly, now that was actually, we did that to protect ourselves in case somebody came in and said, you have, 2 weeks to approve this or it's too late. So that's what we do, we put pole spacing and all
Yeah.
that. This is kind of more directly servicing the 5G.
I see.
And would that have to go out to bid?
I don't know, that's what I'd have to probably rely on Matt. I don't really know.
I'd have to look exactly
pay the
what it is. If it's,
How much does the town pay them, or we get paid?
Per my understanding, you can get a fee from them. It's a low fee because they're considered a utility, but you can't get a fee from them per pole. Because they're governed by the utility commission, so they make a huge profit, but they do make profit.
Similar to the utility with Cablevision. You
Right.
get the check from them.
Right.
All adds up.
Yeah, so I'll try to get that to you by the end of next week.
Right.
Next one, 1001 Wickapeco, we're moving forward with the design plans. One of the things I'm gonna look at doing there is breaking some of the work into pieces because it's, instead of giving all one big contract, you just pay, a general contractor to do things the sub's gonna do. We can just go straight to the subs, like the parking lot, all the external stuff we'll do as one bid, the roofing we'll do, and then all the internal stuff, air conditioning, heating we'll do as one bid. So I'll kind of break up the pieces and save us some money there, but
So-
we are.
Time frame on this, roughly.
Bless you. We're looking at opening next November. You have to wait for the golf, we're kind of looking, they kind of geared it to when the golf course closes.
Right.
That was kind of our timeline, was next November.
Next November to do the paving of the lot.
Well,
And-
it'll be done by then, yeah.
Right,
probably
it'll all
next
be done
summer.
by then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do all the air conditioning improvements, all the internal improvements, the new roof and all that stuff but it all has to come through the budget first. So we're kind of,
Now, we're not gonna get shocked with an estimate now and then later on.
the estimate's already in.
They're in, good.
Yep, and that's going through the budgeting.
Okay.
We kind of wanted to get a jump on the engineering, because if we don't get the AC and the heating systems bid, the lead time on those units, we would never make November.
Right.
So we've got a kind of a earmark for February to put it out to bid.
Okay.
So everything will be in by November.
Good.
Next one is the South Edgemere bulkhead. Talked to the contractor to get his status, and we were informed that the sheet piling coming from the manufacturer is not gonna be in until January. So that's a couple month delay there. So we're also kind of pushing JCP&L. JCP&L, we don't know, they know the time frame too, so they may push off their work a little bit if they have other emergency work elsewhere. But it's looking like it's gonna be a January project, which is, for that kind of work is fine. Wintertime work for putting sheet piling is a good thing. Next item is the dredging. Testing is done. I believe the report is due either probably tomorrow or Monday. So there's a 2-week lead time. So that should be in next week. So I'll forward you a copy for you to look at. Probably just you, Margie.
Yeah, I'll take a look. And then the time frame for the dredging, if everything looks good, is next fall, because we
Yes.
have to wait for the
But we
golf
gotta-
course
yes,
to
we
be
have to use
closed.
our plus we have to get a reuse plan approved by the state.
Okay.
And that's what we're gonna do as soon as this report comes out, because we need that to submit to them also. But we'll start working at a redevelopment plan over the next couple of months, get that all in, get it approved. And then once we get that approved, then we gotta start talking to the Mosquito Control Commission
Teaser
for the
trucks.
dredging.
Okay.
And
Or
we're gonna look at the county for trucks, because the last time I did one of these projects with the county, we were, the Big Brother thing, they wanted us to use, their services because it would be cheaper, but it was twice as expensive. So with the Mosquito Control Commission is free. I mean, they'll just do the dredging most of the time for free. So we'll look at trucking both ways. Either we'll do it, through bidding it out, or we'll use the county. But that may take a couple calls to the freeholder or the commissioner to help us with the Mosquito Control Commission too. But when we get to that point, I don't want to bug them now because it'd be too early this is going to really be a dredging project probably for next summer. Or like the dredge is going to start next fall, but we'll probably want to work on him in the summertime.
And reach out to him sometime in the spring. So
Well, probably summer,
summer?
yeah, because you get about 4 months. When we get like June, we'd have until November, so.
Right.
But that'd probably be good timing, so they can get it in their schedule to be available. Yeah, the only problem I see there is we do have a lot of dredging to do in 3 different locations. It's not a lot in one specific spot. When you add the 3 together, it's gonna tie their dredge line up for probably a good 3 or 4 weeks. So it's, you know, if they commit that kind of time, that's really my main concern.
Where are the other areas? Are they all in the general vicinity?
Yeah, one is Fireman's
Fireman's.
Pond. Well, one is Colonial Terraces right at the golf
Right.
course, so that one's easy. The other one's Fireman's Pond and then Snell's Pond. So they're all not a big, long distance to the golf course, but
Greg, where's DLA Commission falling into this?
they're happy with
They've
us.
been on
I'm
board.
sure they are.
Yeah.
But these are usually their projects, if I recall correctly.
This isn't really Deal Lake specific, so
Yeah,
it's.
this is, we're just
We,
doing.
when I was on the commission, we handled those.
The
That was,
ponds?
oh yeah.
Well, the piece that we're doing is part
Huh?
of Colonial, the terrace
No,
pond
no.
there. And it's kind of, where we're dredging is not really the main body of the pond, which they've dredged before.
Right.
We're doing the little finger that is really between the third tee and the third green.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So that little covey, little inlet there is really what we're gonna dredge out of there. Even though there's a little bit of pond out and a little sediment out in the middle there, we might try to grab if we have some extra time and money,
Okay.
but yeah, it's really nothing's that far, it's just the coordination of it all and getting everything coordinated with the golf course.
Yeah, they must be ecstatic with us doing this.
Not really.
No?
Golf course or
The golf
who are you
course.
referring
Well,
to?
the DLA Commission,
Oh, the DLA
Oh,
Commission,
yeah,
yes, the
DLA
golf
Commission,
course is
yes.
not.
they're not happy with it.
But it doesn't really benefit the golf course. I mean, we've done a lot of projects over there over the years that have benefited them. You know, we put the berms up along the first fairway with some trees on it, built the big mogul hills behind the first green to separate it from the seventh green. So there's some nice things there. And this will actually help. I don't know how familiar you are with it. If you go up the fourth fairway, which we regraded, that big wasteland to the right of it that stretches the whole length. This is where all this dirt's gonna be used to make all little moguls in there with trees planted in there.
Right.
So it's gonna be very picturesque when we're done, and kind of a pain in the butt for people that slice the ball, but, you know, that's really kind of a waste area right now. But, you know, it just tears the golf course up for a while.
The other option is to dump it in front of that guy's house who keeps getting dinged and then use it as a.
Big mountain.
Yes.
There we go.
Right. Solves all the issues, right?
Yeah.
Loses his view.
Yeah.
That's good.
Beats a net.
Yeah.
Okay, the next two are really though related to the Adams Avenue right-of-way vacations. The one lot that we had, I wanted to test, we were gonna sell that property, and we were wondering why they wanted a piece of property we thought was all wet. I just wanted to guarantee it was wet, so I had my wetlands guy go out, and it's 90% wet, plus the other 10% is covered by a buffer. And you'd have to have some kind of real reason for the DEP to let you use that property, which a residential house is not one. You know, it would have to be for some kind of emergency or emergency service or something. If there was an access to the water, you might be able to get that. But to build a house, it's not gonna be a viable choice. So that one doesn't have a lot of value. The next one, actually.
So you're recommending move forward with the sale?
Yeah. You know, yeah.
We have that.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't surprised all of a sudden the guy goes and builds a big house on it. We wasted, we've sold it for a very cheap price, which is not the case. The next one was, I don't really know how to describe it, the one we had at Adams Avenue right-of-way vacation for this is the one, well, Jennifer Trinkle, I think is involved a lot of, but this is the one where I was saying had to go to planning board because it has various different access and you're gonna landlock properties and stuff. And she sent in, the bottom line was, she sent deed restrictions, and I think she sent them to Marty. Because what happens is, Matt, this road we're gonna vacate has like 7 lots on it. And they're all owned by different people. And Jennifer Kimco said, well, we have the permission from the first couple of people on the block that don't want any part of it. But it doesn't matter because it still landlocks legal lots, even though they're in technically common ownership. And I'm not sure they're common ownership, same person, but he might have them 2 different names. So the bottom line was Jennifer Krimkin came in and gave us deed restrictions. But those were sent to you guys too, that we have to review.
I'll take a look. I don't think that you could just
Yeah.
bypass that by
I didn't think so either, but that's legal issues.
And one of the homeowners that wanted the property drew up the deeds.
Oh, well, that's,
It makes it better.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Makes your life easier.
Okay,
To
the
save money.
next item on my list is 1515 Logan. We kind of got slowed down a little bit in there because we were trying to do some buffer averaging on the wetlands to save some lots, and it turns out one portion of the wetlands, which we thought was wetlands, is actually state open water, so there's no buffer, and you can't buffer average on that. So there's some other things we're looking into doing to try to save a lot, because if we can't buffer average that, we're gonna lose another lot, we're down to 6 lots.
So it's not wetlands, it's what?
State open waters.
Oh,
So essentially
it's
what
like-
happens when you have like a ravine, a river, or
Uh-huh.
a bank, the top of bank is considered, because the wetlands is somewhere in that bank.
okay.
So the DEP declares the top of the bank state open waters with no buffer.
Okay.
And this one was kind of a flat swale, so we didn't think they might not call it state open waters, but they did. So now we can't buffer along there to save some area to build a house over in the other lot. But there's another thing, couple things we're looking at doing to try to save that lot. So by next meeting, next workshop, I'll know
Mhm.
the answer to that.
We have a time frame as to when we look like this could potentially be done and go out to bid?
Well, I would have to get it to the planning board.
Right.
I wanted to get to the planning board this month, but it's probably gonna go in December.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
it's
figured
just-
December now that you're telling us next meeting.
And does
Yeah.
it go out to bid, or is it just up for sale?
Well,
like you said?
that's, I
They
think,
have-
we're gonna
Yeah.
put it out for sale.
Put it
For
out
sale.
for
Oh,
sale.
that's what you meant,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Which essentially becomes a bid.
yeah,
Yeah.
true,
Everyone's
exactly,
gonna bid.
everyone's bidding it.
because we're just gonna get the preliminary approval
Okay.
and let them get the
Right,
final.
we
in
can
case
put it
they
up for
wanna
sale, but the
tweak
bids
it.
come in, we'll have a, you know, same thing like we always do.
Right. Okay, next one, the Veterans Memorial, I don't know if you've seen that, but that is done, the parking lot is
Very
good,
nice.
striped, all
Look great.
sodded.
Sod looks
Yeah,
great.
that
Can we
came
go there
out.
tomorrow?
No.
Well, actually, they
Okay,
didn't
we-
wanna do it, they
we
were
could have,
worried.
but-
Could.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
They were-
pouring rain, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inside.
The next one, last time we were here, last workshop meeting, I told you that I was gonna meet with the county on Bimbler. I did. The county traffic engineer, we went through all the numbers, and it turns out the amount of volume of traffic coming up Bimbler is very significant. It was like 1,000 cars per day, or per peak hour in a day, which is a lot. And they were, because my suggestion to them is I wanted to put two no left turns in there, keep them on Asbury Avenue. And their traffic engineer realized also that they're gonna go down to Ridge and have to turn left. There's no left turn lane there now, and the amount of traffic going down there would require 2 left turn lanes. Not just a single, but a double because of the volume of traffic. So that means they don't have the geometry there to do that. So they were kind of telling me they weren't gonna put the 2 no left turns there. So I said, well, the Ocean Township's only point of view is I'm gonna put no right turns at both of the stop signs coming off out of the Colonial Terrace area going on to Wickapeco. Because generally, I don't think most of the people in Ocean would come through there to try to go into Asbury. So we would put the left turns on. And I said it because I knew it was gonna force their hand a little bit, and they said, well, you can't do that because that's gonna definitely force everybody to stay on Asbury Avenue. I said, well, that's where they belong. So now what's happening is, instead of doing anything, they're setting up a meeting with Asbury Park to see if they'll let the county improve that intersection with some left turn signals. So that, I don't know when that's scheduled, they're arranging that, it'll probably be in the beginning of the year, I'm sure, in January sometime. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to the committees there in Colonial Terrace and tell them, just give them an update that that's what's going on with that, so they know. The next one is at the same time, I talked to them about the crosswalk at Lincoln and Monmouth.
Yep.
They saw what I was asking. They requested that we give them till next summer to analyze the situation for 2 reasons. One, they're worried about the little S turn there because of the geometry comes up right where that crosswalk would be, just to the south of it as the S coming up Monmouth. And they also want to wait till the summer foot traffic comes back. So they're gonna analyze Monmouth Road between West Park and Roosevelt, that whole corridor for pedestrians, and see if that is in fact, the best spot. I don't know what's gonna do up at West Park, but it's generally, they kind of want to devise themselves some time to analyze the area instead of just going and putting a crosswalk in. Okay, the next one, the site plan for Kepwell, that was submitted for the playground, for the planning board. I think that's gonna be heard on December 5th, if I'm not mistaken. So that's a capital review project, so that'll be coming up.
When did you say, Greg? I'm sorry.
December 5th?
I
December?
think December 5th was the
That's
day.
fine, thanks.
The
Yeah,
next,
we have a planning board meeting on the 5th.
yeah. The next item was the stormwater, there's a stormwater control ordinance. What happened was the town, we got a grant to look at our stormwater ordinances. We are fully up to date and the standards are fine for our stormwater ordinances. The state put out a grant to let towns look at enhancing that. And I've been going through that, and one of the things I met with Margie and Dave the other day, one of the problems with enhancing it, it suffers make certain areas of town suffer. Some make the commercial section suffer, some make new development suffer, some make projects like we do really suffer by enhancing our current ordinances. So what I want to do is, it's not due until May, I want to kind of tweak it to see if we can kind of do some of all of them, or a couple pieces of none of them. Or, you know, because if we do kind of, the bottom line is what they want to do, there's a definition called a major subdivision, major development. And they say the best way to do it is you reduce the standards for what's considered a major development, which means it goes from 10,000 square foot of new impervious or 1 acre of disturbance, and you can lower that to say 5,000 square feet of new impervious or a half acre disturbance. But the best way to analyze that is from our point of view, when you look at, you know, think of 1515 Logan. We would, instead of me going out there and only having to put a water quality basin in right now with the standards, if we make them more strict, I'm gonna have to put a detention basin in, and they're worse. And then we also have like 1,001 Peckle, we're gonna be redoing the parking lot. That one would fall under these standards we're talking about. And then you also have, you know, a couple other ones we have that are out there also. I forget the other one that I had.
Okay.
So I kind of want to wait until we kind of feel this out and get some impacts, and I want to study it to see where exactly it hurts.
Yeah.
Toxic watermelon.
One of the things that I would recommend we do, and one of the problems we have in town is your coverage allowed on residential lots. Right now, you can go up to 75% coverage on a residential lot, which is outrageous. It should be around 35%.
Right.
And these are, to make that grant ordinance go down and get those residential areas, you can see how small it would have to get, because a residential house is only 10,000 square feet to begin with. So if we're gonna try to restrict it to get down to that level, it's gonna really hurt all the commercial and everything else in town. And we don't want that, because they'll all be moving out of town if they can't conform to the regulations. So one of the things I would dovetail into my recommendation, coming back to that grant, is I'm gonna recommend we actually reduce the coverage allowable on residential lots in town to 35 or 40. And we kind of vet that out to the planning board, let them kind of decide on how they want to do it, but
In
we
all
also.
zones?
Huh?
In all zones?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would make sense to do sooner than later. I wouldn't want to wait till May, till we, you know, or until
Okay.
this grant. If we can do like a separate ordinance to reduce that impervious coverage earlier,
Okay.
then that would be, I think, a good idea.
So maybe we can I'll throw something together for next meeting, we can kind of look at it, and I'll send it to Matt to
Mhm.
review, and then we have to send it to the planning board for their review and comment. But I agree with you, that's something, because we have some lots that are 90% covered, and they're bigger ones,
Yeah.
and they're putting a lot of things on it.
Yeah.
While you're on that topic, stormwater, refresh my memory, we passed an ordinance.
Yes, we met what was required of the state.
Right.
And this is looking at ways to kind of go beyond that a little bit and to make, you know, to go beyond what's just the minimum requirement of the state.
So is the grant mutual, because if I remember, when we passed it, we said we were gonna come back and revisit it
Right.
to enhance it. Is this mutually exclusive, or are we gonna get paid now to do it?
Well, no, I think we got the grant to review it. I don't think the grant makes you commit to enhancing it, it's just to look at how you may want to enhance it.
And there might be some ways that we can enhance it, just not every way that you know, not all of it makes sense.
What do they give you, parameters on what you can and cannot do?
They give you recommendations.
Recommendations.
Because
Yeah.
the easiest way to give you a recommendation is there's 4 or 5 categories in the current stormwater regs that we've already adopted that kind of give you numbers or definitions. And one is a major development, one's a minor development. One is, you know, if you have a certain amount of coverage, certain things are grandfathered, and they want to take the grandfathering away. Like, say, the perfect example is 1515 Logan. If we go in there, all the impervious coverage in there is considered credit for us right now. So the building, all the parking lot and everything, we aren't gonna have more there, we're gonna reduce it, therefore we don't have to put detention in. One of the enhancements is you don't grandfather impervious coverage. So you could take that out and say, well, if you're gonna go in and develop that site, you have to pretend it's a forest. And you can see how that would impact us. You know, you'd have a large detention basin to service just one single road going in there, because the difference in impervious and lawn versus a forest is quite a difference. So those are the kind of things they're saying you can do, but, you know, I don't think we want to go hardcore on all these. I think we kind of want to go in the middle somewhere on some of them. So we're going to study that, and probably not next meeting, maybe next month I'll talk with Margie about it, kind of get a feeling for it, and then we'll come back and tell everybody kind of the thoughts we have on all of it.
Agreed.
So it'll probably be January, we'll come back and talk about that.
But in the meantime, I think reducing the impervious surface coverage down to,
Yeah.
from 75% to 35%. And that should be done 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Right, yes, yeah,
you know,
years ago, yeah.
But sooner than later.
Okay. The next item I have on my list is the Deal Manor, which is the Martelli project.
Oh.
We had our meeting, and believe it or not, it went extremely well. So we're done. We are gonna recommend release of the performance bond. The whole association is in agreement to that.
I was just gonna ask.
They were there, and I wasn't overly thrilled with them because we waited 5 weeks to have a meeting with them because they were kind of get all their ducks in a row with their expert and stuff. We showed up, they didn't have an expert. They said, we choose not to have one. It's like,
But really, the punch list was pretty simple. A lot of it was paperwork. It was that pump system. We got everything else basically done over there.
yeah. And really what the information they were missing was the information on the pump. It's been working fine.
Right.
Now we've given them the information that explains how it works and what.
Somebody came out and trained them or showed them how to.
Well, that's why
whatever.
we wanted their expert there, because, somebody who understands pumping systems, they didn't have one. You had 2 residents there that, it's like anything else, the first time you see it, you can remember it, but I
Right.
can guarantee you in a year, when they have to shut it back down again, the mothball for the winter, they're not gonna remember all these things.
Do they shut that down every season?
A portion of it, yes.
They do,
Yeah.
okay.
The stuff that goes to the sprinkler system.
Right, okay, that's right, that's gonna be blown out.
So, but then it'll be something, and I did advise him, I said, why don't you get the name of the guy that's here today, and if you can't figure it out, at least you can call him and get him under contract, that he can come out and explain it to you again. So they did that.
Or they should have them under contract to shut it down and open it up. I mean, really, it's like a sprinkler system. I wouldn't blow my own lines out.
Apparently they have somebody that takes the aerator out of the pond,
Right,
and they're gonna use him to mothball or to blow out, winterize the sprinkler system.
okay.
So that's fine. If you're happy with it, we're happy.
Yeah.
But
As
bottom
long-
line is, we're out of it. We're going to performance bond release and maintenance, and all the little things, the cracked sidewalk here and there and the hairline cracks, we're gonna put on maintenance bond. And we'll revisit that in 2 years, but it pretty much gets us
Any
off.
argument on these pools that were put in with who cracked what and what's broken beforehand and after?
No, they knew that we had our documentation that showed
Okay.
it wasn't cracked by the pool company. That's why they kind of backed off a lot of those.
Right, all right, so as long as they're good and you're good with it, I'm fine.
Yeah, so that'll probably be, I don't know if that'll make next meeting, because the only thing one thing they have to do is submit in for the town to request them to accept the roadways as township roads. So once that's done, then essentially the performance bond we release will probably be January. So it'll be a little bit of time.
Township roads or their roads? So
That's the township road.
will we plow that in the winter?
We already do.
We do, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next thing on my list was the crosswalks. We talked about, I looked at putting crosswalks at Corley's. These are all on Wickapecco, at the intersection of Corley's, Bendemeer, and Lincoln. All those can be done. There's places, 2 of them are just require us to put the paint striping in and the sign. So I will, if that's our desire, I will try to get those done with the striping that we do in the springtime with the bike lanes. So those 3 crosswalks will be put in with that,
Okay.
okay?
While you're on that topic, sorry, since you're doing painting, no, not the bike ones, but you were meeting with traffic.
The chief, yeah.
I don't know if it was gonna be the chief or
Yeah.
traffic to review, that's on your list, or?
That isn't, but I did do that, and they're
Oh.
getting their list together, and I will add that into the striping in the spring.
Thank you.
Yeah, we told them to specifically look at the more of the collector roads, center line mostly, and stop bars at the intersections of the 2 collector roads. So they're gonna, I told them it wasn't an emergency, it was something you could do over the next 2 or 3 months, because I didn't want them to go thinking they had to rush to do it, because we're not gonna paint it until spring.
Okay,
But that was done, and he will be doing that, and we'll include those.
cool, thank you.
Okay.
I had a question for you. So you got these bike lanes. Do you define what you can ride in a bike lane? Because I was in New York City last night, and everybody's got these electric scooters and electric bikes, and they are ripping through the street. The problem is they come up from behind you, you turn, boom, you don't even see these guys. It's actually quite scary.
Yeah, that's a new problem, because
It's-
those are new to the biking lane system.
Yeah.
so I don't know if we had.
It's not some guy on a
Just
Tuffy,
starting
man.
out,
It's-
just starting out way the peddlers.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
that'll come
something
down
we're
to
gonna
like
have to address.
education, bicycle education, which I think somewhere along the line we should figure out a way to do
Yeah.
that, because I think,
Either that or we have to put a speed limit sign
Yeah,
in the.
Some of these things are fast.
Oh, yeah, they go
Oh,
40
they're
miles an
real
hour.
fast.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that may be a way to combat that is.
Shoot them scooters in
Yeah.
Asbury.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's
Right by you.
crazy how, and everybody's got them. Everybody, the delivery guys got them, everybody's using these things.
Yeah, they do sneak up on you. Yeah. Okay, and my last thing I had was this, kind of a discussion thing, is one of the things when I do grading plans in town, I always make a homeowner put shade trees along the frontage, but one of the things was always a question was the curbing. And we kind of got into a situation where I didn't make somebody put in curbing if it was our 50% rule. But then we didn't have a lot of houses that were falling into that category anymore because they weren't brand-new homes, they were just additions and whatnot. But we just got one in this week that's a knockdown rebuild, and it has quite a bit of frontage on it with no curb, but the rest of the street, 80% of the street is curbed. So it's gonna probably be a $40,000 ticket in curbing if we go back to them and tell me you have to put curbing in. I just kinda wanna make sure that's the direction you still want me to go. Because bottom line is, when I go and do that road and road program, we're gonna have to pay for that curb. So that's why I would recommend we make them pay for it, but I just wanna let you realize that I am doing that with a homeowner.
Why wouldn't we do it? Why wouldn't we recommend it?
My opinion, I think we should.
Why
But I just
wouldn't
wanna
we?
make sure.
Just because it's a big
I just wanna make sure
ticket
you,
for the
because.
Right, that's what I'm
homeowner.
getting
They're not
at.
gonna
Where's
just
the
call me
home?
and complain, they're gonna call you guys and complain, so that's
Right.
why I wanna make you alert to it.
Where's the home?
It's on Woodland and Edgemere.
Mhm.
It's that corner, that little, and it's on the
It's
east
across the
side.
street from my house, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So there's no
you-
curb there now?
No.
There's no curb, and there's no
The
sidewalk.
whole length. On the Edgemere side, that road is probably only like 60% curved.
Right.
But the Woodland side is 80 to 90% curved. It's just that the westerly end of it is not curved, the last two lots.
Mhm.
And he's one of them.
And again, I'm sorry, so when the policy or procedure ordinance, whatever is, that if, what
You improve
requires
it.
it? Right, what requires it?
Well, it's just a policy, and it's just me.
Policy, okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of comes down to, and that's what I tell them when they ask, because it's 50% rule.
50% meaning what, sorry?
If the road has
Got
existing
it, okay,
50%.
got it.
And it's
Okay.
kind of a fine line. Some people argue, I think it is 50%, you go out and it's 10%, because they want curbs.
Right.
But, and then we also have the situation, a lot of people don't want curbs when there's only 40 or less %. And I ask if, do you guys want us to put curb in or no? That's kind of what started the rule many years ago.
Got it.
But, so I'm gonna go to that person and tell him he has to put curbing in, he's gonna pitch a fit, so you may be hearing about that one, because they're usually not that big, because you don't usually have a corner lot like this, it's actually like a peninsula.
Right, it's a
He
peninsula.
has all frontage in one side yard, so it's kind of like an island he's out there. But there's not too many of them in town. Most of the time, we've made people put curb in, but it's just 75 or 100 foot of frontage, and they don't have a problem with it.
This is the way it is.
You said this is $40,000?
Well, for us, it would be, so it might be 30 for him. Yeah,
A lot of money.
yeah.
For curbs.
It's, and you give the guy, it's probably a knockdown rebuild, it's a spec, and he's gonna try to sell it, he just added, $30,000 to his tab off the top, so. Okay, but I will let him know. That's all I had.
Hold on.
Hopefully he
that's
calls
Go
you.
ahead there, Rob's up
Friendly neighbor.
back.
No, I think he did good. I don't think he's,
I don't
Like,
know,
follow the
Rob.
rules,
There's
whatever
gotta
the
be
rules are from
something
before,
missing
that's
here.
Gotta have
more.
something
I
hang your
took a
hat
lot
on.
of notes
Yes.
myself, and I'm thinking,
I think he's, hold on, please. This is where they make fun of me, Kelly.
I didn't even hear what you said,
Oh, 'cause
Rob.
he's got
so-
questions.
where they make
He's
fun
got
of
Oh, okay.
all the time.
I think he covered
Tip of
everything.
the iceberg.
Wow.
I'm like,
Right.
holy shit, I'm very unprepared. I didn't know half, I'm not like,
Yes, impervious coverage, 100%.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
well, that one did pique my
You know
interest.
what? That's your, hey, Kelly, that's your concrete jungle that you're talking about. Highway 35.
I don't have the notes on here, so you may have done it last week, but the 420 bound, the lady, that was resolved now?
Yeah, well, we resolved what we were gonna do.
Right.
The plants, I don't think were planted yet.
Okay.
Which
She
one's
did
that?
call me.
Who's 420?
She's right up by the
Nice young
intersection
lady.
of Bound and Seward. And we put the sidewalk through there and we cut down, she had some like forsythia bushes and whatnot. we cut
Okay.
down. We're gonna replant, she's happy with what we're replanting. And once we worked that out about a month ago, what we're gonna
Right,
replant,
that's why I
she's
wasn't
happy.
sure, all right.
But we just haven't planted it. She did call me, the end of last week, and I told her contract just hasn't gotten here yet. He'll be there before, before the end of December for sure, but probably in the next 2 weeks, he'll be planting everything, because he just finished paving.
Okay.
So now I'll get into his restoration punch list.
And, nope, you're good. That was it.
Okay.
Nice.
Big night for Greg.
Yeah, okay.
Hurry up, Greg, get out of here.
Just
Good night,
a 3-run
everybody.
homer.
Just as an aside,
Yeah, one for example.
I got one for executive, sorry.
I guess you gotta stick
Oh,
around.
I forgot about that. Dave reminded me. I was almost out of here.
Sorry, that's what I'm here for. Dave, go
Share
ahead.
wealth, right?
Speaking of our township manager, go ahead, Dave, you're up.
All right, we have the BPI, the best practice inventory was submitted this week by our CFO. It was signed, sealed by Jesse and myself as municipal clerk and the chief administrative officer. So that is in, you have it in front of you. Just to back up a little bit for Kelly, the best practice inventory is a yearly event that we do. Basically, it's best practices that the state requires us through different statutes and different guidelines, rules, regulations, administrative procedures that cover anywhere between ethics, financial administration, health, procurement, anything that we do, and basically they're saying these are the best practices, and then they're questioning us as the municipality to say, are you doing these things? We are
So it's like a
basically-
self-audit?
Yeah, we're like 95% there. They stipulate that if you don't get to, say, like 80% or so, you will not get your money. And by money meaning the state funding that we need to fill the gap in our budget. So last year, we were able to successfully get the score to where we needed it. Same this year. The only couple of no's that I will note was interesting, because there were new questions this year, was ones relating to surety bonding for the municipal judge and that staff, and surety bonding for the tax collector and that staff. But it was asking for more stringent. We do the minimum, it costs a good amount of money to do that. CFO and I agree that at this time, we're not gonna move to the more stringent, so we had to answer no on those questions. But everything
But
else.
it still kept us above 80%?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. But everything else is in good order, and then obviously, anybody wanna take a look at it and have questions subsequent to tonight, just call myself or the CFO, and we'd be glad to entertain and answer the questions.
Can I ask a question now?
You may.
What a surprise. I only because
one?
it,
He's gonna go through all of them.
no, this one's a no. I mean, I'm already on 30 and that's the first no. So the 30, Dave.
30.
That's the one he just mentioned, the surety bonding is costs, how much more would it cost to?
No,
Oh, sorry,
30's the
30.
audit.
No,
Oh,
30
I
is,
missed it now.
Am I reading it
Oh,
right?
that's an
Core
N.
competence.
yes, that's
NA.
we did NA, no audit findings for calendar year
Not applicable.
2020. So that's
First-
excellent.
That's a
The
great
first
thing.
no is this one, the 35, the surety bonding.
Oh, no, oh, I saw
Yeah,
no,
NA is
I saw
not-
no
not
audit.
applicable.
Okay, I
Yeah.
apologize. I saw the
Yeah.
no audit.
No worries.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the no's are the ones that I
Go ahead,
covered.
Rob, you wanna ask the
No,
35?
go ahead. No, that one struck me
The other
strange.
no's towards the end, if anyone has any questions, they're unscored, questions that they ask. A lot of them are just stuff, they're just putting feelers out there for the state to see what we're doing and what we're not doing.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
And
we
it
should.
changes per whoever's in the governor's office.
Yeah, for,
Because everyone has their different initiatives.
for purchasing new,
Yeah.
Vehicles?
for purchasing new vehicles, maybe we should have
Yeah.
a formal policy.
That one will turn into a yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That is our other no. That will turn into a yes. That
Which
is in the
number's
game
that?
plan. but
46.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're starting with the Chargers first. Greg's working on that now. He and I are going back and forth on that. We've picked the locations. We're
Oh,
expanding
the
our
ones above. Yeah.
Chargers for those vehicles. And then what we want to start doing is start buying vehicles, put them into our fleet. And I want to start with code enforcement and some public works vehicles that are easy to, once they come to their end of the line point, we can take them out, put the new vehicles in and charge them. The police will go last because those are the ones we're most concerned with. We don't need those things like dying while they're out there on the road doing work or something. So,
Sure.
and you also have to buy a fast charger to get them back up as they come in off the road to change shifts. It has to boom, charge up, next one get in, go back out, and be ready, so
Yeah,
we're,
yeah.
you know, that's almost like when you get the new computer, you want the bugs to get out.
Mhm.
So we're waiting on the police, but we're gonna start with code, with some of the small administrative duties and get those into some nice economy vehicles that, you know.
Mhm.
And then they make them for the garbage trucks too as well and things, but we're not there yet either, but all of this is being assessed by
Mhm.
myself and the department.
So we'll roll them in little by little.
Yeah, but we'll start out with the low-hanging fruit and move our way up. The next thing I had tonight was working with the LD11 Assembly Office in regards to traffic signal on Route 71, which is also Norwood Avenue and South Lincoln. I think we lightly talked about this at one point, but I just want to make sure everyone's clear, because we have to do a cost commitment to the Department of Transportation, and that cost commitment for that is $62,500. It requires a resolution, not just a letter from myself. So in order to, obviously, a resolution, it must be approved by the governing body. So I will talk to Mr. Matt over here, and we will come up with a resolution with Jesse, and we will have something on for the next meeting in December.
Isn't that half of our town and half of Long Branch over there?
Yes, I opted not to go with Long Branch because they could split the baby with us on this. I have a little bit of trepidation that, one, do they want the traffic light, and if they don't want it, and I know we wanted to move forward with it, and then two, I didn't want to get into the financial piece of it, and I talked to our CFO. We were golden, we already had the money programmed into next year's budget, so I just wanted to keep it to basically us getting this done right now, and this will be a, per se, a chip that I will have when we need Long Branch in the future.
So I know we talked about this before, and
No.
since that time I thought of, so all good with the finances, I get it. Chip is good. Do they have a veto on this?
I don't know, good question. I mean, we made the request from our end.
Right.
I don't know. The letter is clearly to Sergeant Martinez in our department, asking us for this. It was, the Long Branch piece wasn't even in the letter here, that came in conversations
From
with the
this-
LD11
right.
Assembly Office.
Right.
So,
And most of the whole improvement will be in the state right away. So I would think if the state gets payment, they probably really won't have much worry about what Long Branch says if they know there's a need to put a traffic light there,
Got it.
which there is.
Right.
I don't even know why they would question it.
Long Branch.
Long Branch.
Right, I would think,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just don't want to,
would.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
they're not
I
going to do
don't-
anything.
Right.
They don't.
This
If
came
it's-
from
if it's
the
over the-
LD Assembly, though. This was originated from them. I don't remember somebody coming in.
No,
resonated
it came from me.
Yeah.
Oh, it came from you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Simultaneously.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Or maybe I even brought it up earlier.
there was
No,
some
that's,
residents too,
that's not
right?
true.
Or
So was it
the
a resident? I don't remember.
resident came to me,
There you go.
and then that same resident, so we had talked about it.
Yep.
You had gone to the county, or you went to the police, no, I went to Sorrentino, excuse me, I went to the chief.
Mhm.
Chief went to the county. Simultaneously, that resident also reached out to LD11, and
Oh, that's how they got
that's how
looped
it
in.
got around.
Gotcha.
I think the only
Now-
thing Long Branch could do would delay it, but it would be a done deal.
Okay. Not implying that they would, if anybody's watching.
It's like a suicide
And just to
corner over there.
piggyback on that, we had a second request of DOT, something similar. We wanted install a crosswalk with a flasher over by the Hillel School, Yeshiva, and Synagogue at the intersection of Route 18 and Deal Road, Cold Indian Springs Road. So that requires a $25,000 requirement. That too, same deal, we have to put a resolution on, and the CFO has to certify funds. So in that regard, you might.
Where would they
see-
plant that,
Yeah,
Dave?
where the
Yeah,
fuck put
I was
that?
gonna ask.
Across
where
what
exactly?
road?
That's
Yeah,
the
'cause
sidewalk.
That's all I got right
Oh.
now.
That's the sidewalk that we want.
Right, but
across
where,
Route
so
18.
that's also the on-ramp for 18, so
Well, no,
where,
it's the on and off ramp.
right,
It'd be
so
on the
where's
north
the,
side of
where are we
Deal Road.
putting that flasher? Where would that go?
I just got.
We're trying to slow them down from coming up Deal Road?
Yeah, I don't have the
No, I
detailed
think-
plans, because they'll give us that as.
It's almost like it has to go on the bridge,
No, I think it would be the 18.
right at
Yeah,
18.
you're right, it would be in their ramp areas, because they want to put flashers saying there's a pedestrian crossing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Isn't that close though to where they actually should
Yeah.
slow down? I mean, doesn't it have to be back?
Well, the problem is, you come up that
So I guess-
off ramp, I
Yep.
mean, you get kind of into a straightaway, and you could get moving pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
So I guess
I'm
that
always
falls
pretty
in the-
careful on up there, but
There's tons of accidents over there.
So they're crossing that Cold Indian Springs Road across,
they cross over the on-ramp,
yeah,
and they'll cross over the ramp coming off.
yeah. And I guess the problem is people are coming on, that's why they want the flashers.
I mean,
guess,
there
too.
are people that hang a left and they walk up Cold Indian, but
Mhm.
there are several that walk up Deal Road. So,
So the lights are gonna be on what road?
Deal.
I believe they're gonna be on deal at the ramps,
So coming off of.
coming off and getting on.
Put a ramp
You have an
across
on-ramp
it.
there and an off-ramp.
Yeah.
It's
People
off the
very
road
dangerous.
completely.
I don't know about that one, Dave, man, that's a bad
Well-
spot.
And here's what I say. Let's get the details on this, and then we'll figure it out from there. So I'll do a deeper dive on this one and ask DOT to provide us with their engineering schematics on where they think they're gonna put this.
I think that's what this was for them to do the engineering study.
So maybe,
'Cause they-
so that's the whole thing, then
Yeah.
they're
Oh, to
gonna
do
come
the
back.
study to
Says,
figure
yeah,
out
for the
where.
feasibility of installing these.
Feasibility.
So I think I mean, I would recommend we do this because
Yeah.
it gets us out of the middle of it.
Definitely do the feasibility study.
But we don't have to pay the 25 until it's done.
No, you
No,
have to
no,
pay
we
the
gotta
25
commit to
do
the 25 to do the
feasibility
study.
Oh.
And what Greg's saying, after the study, then I guess we'll figure out where to
Whoa.
put it.
Yeah.
So the 25 is just for the study?
Yep, cost estimate is 25,000.
What are they studying?
You need a bridge over there.
Safety issues.
The answer is no.
Yeah. Well,
So
I
how,
think the
who
problem,
generated this one?
That's LD11. That was the same, that was LD11.
that was,
Okay,
that was
okay.
from us,
I mean, maybe we should do
Was
our
it?
own.
But it is
own
an
study.
issue.
Walk over
You
there and
can't-
kind of.
No, I agree.
Your own
We
feasibility
definitely
study.
can't,
Like a trampoline.
Yeah.
See, this,
You can't.
this actually was the
Jump.
application.
especially with Hill
that
L
we put in.
expanding now.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
yeah.
We remember
Totally.
back
You have to,
probably
we have to look into that.
5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah,
The
I would-
crosswalk at
I would agree.
18
I think
on
we
and
need to
off
move
is
forward.
horrible.
Right.
I
Right.
know.
Yeah,
Why don't
we
you put
were-
the crosswalk somewhere else? That's
Will they,
It's a hot
Yeah.
spot.
with this
They're not-
$25,000 study
Put
here, would
sidewalks
they
on both sides
look
and
into
send them
all
down
the
to the corner.
different ways that we can make this
18, that's
better?
even worse.
That's why, yeah.
It may be worth to spend the money
Oh, on the bridge,
because.
you mean?
Yes.
But they need to
You know
cross
what I'm gonna
across
do?
the,
This letter goes to Sergeant Martinez.
We got any grants for
She
this?
must have submitted something.
so
So
they
let
can
me,
hear.
let me go
Yes.
back to the
Okay.
chief.
Dave, can we call our grant people? There must be grants
Oh,
for
yeah, there's
this.
a bunch of DOT
This is,
money. But I don't know if
this is
will
a
cover.
study by the
Yeah.
DOT though, this is
Yeah,
not.
they
Oh,
pay,
they won't pay for the
for
study?
the work, not the studies.
And why isn't the
Oh.
school paying for it?
Good point, not sure. Again, I'm trying to still figure out who.
I mean, it's
would
their
do it.
expansion that's causing the problem.
Oh, I don't really know who asked for it. I know there was a lot of concern saying people walk, and it might not have just, I don't think it was just specifically to the school. It was walking to synagogues across that area. And there was no walkway on Deal Road from anywhere on Deal pretty much.
To cross
There's-
over Deal.
There's a port, if you're coming down from Bowen or Cold Indian Springs up in that way, there's only a portion of that is sidewalk on the north side.
The school doesn't affect it, really, it's the synagogue that
Right.
affects it.
So the people are actually walking across there now, so it was a safety issue, and that's when we applied to the DOT and said, hey, can you look into putting a crosswalk across the north side of the bridge, because they can't put it on the south side, because there's no sidewalk on the south side of the overpass.
Greg, who
How about
submitted?
further west on
Engineering or
Deal?
PD.
Both.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
submitted the application, and then they came back to Sergeant Martinez and asked her for
No, make a
information.
walkway.
Okay, all right.
Put
I'm
them
gonna
away
get
from
my
the
application.
The problem
Oh,
is
no.
they have to still walk over those on and off ramps.
Most
That's
people
what they're
don't
doing.
cross
It's not
the road
cross,
over there.
it's not
They cross
going
on the
left
other
to
side.
right on Deal, it's going
Going
across
east,
each
west.
Cross,
Oh,
come down
okay.
to church on the hill, they usually
It's-
cross
It's
over
a
that grade,
real,
and they
it's
walk
like
along the
Harry
bridge.
where the
Church on
walking
the hill
is.
is-
Right.
On the
There's no way to elevate that
North
in
side.
any way.
Yeah, on a
Yeah,
Saturday.
they don't come down the south side of the bridge.
Pedestrian
And
bridge.
That's
there's.
bad.
The
Because
north
all
side
the-
is where the problem is,
Pedestrian
you know.
bridge.
Yeah,
That's
it's
where,
really
like, you
bad.
got-
Pedestrian
Yeah,
I
bridge.
looked at,
People
I,
come
every
in,
day I ride
people
by, I
come out.
wonder
And
how
who's
we
gonna-
can fix
Study the
this.
safety.
Yeah.
But it's,
On
I'm
weekends,
telling you,
obviously, the walk
Right.
to the
you need a
synagogue is the
full-blown
same.
bridge ramp.
Pedestrian
Yeah.
crossing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
elevated bridge.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bad issue.
Yeah,
But I think
it's
from our point of view is, we were taking a lot of heat and questions of why weren't we applying for this? We applied for this, and I think if you pay for the study and it comes out, and if the study's in, you can imagine what the solution's gonna be. That's when you make the decision, is this, you know,
To the right.
they may deny doing it too, they may say there's no viable solution for this.
So can I ask, what's the
This
difference?
is a lot of
be-
money for a study.
Well, that's
You
what I was
have
just
to
gonna say, what's the
cross over
difference
here,
between the
go across the
county
bridge this
or
way.
the
If
state
you wanna go
doing
over
the
there,
traffic light
they should
study
make the
on
crosswalk like
71
they would have to
versus
go like
this?
that.
Yeah.
We're not paying for the 71
Only
one.
because of this.
Yeah,
You know,
let me,
on
you guys got
ramps.
some very good questions, let me do some
I mean,
homework
this is
here,
where-
because I don't know if it's just for the study, if it's, because
Okay.
I'm reading it differently. But let me
Okay.
backtrack, I didn't make the application, so
Okay.
it seems it's Sergeant Martinez is the point person, so I wanna go back to her and.
Realistically, the fix to that is
Mhm.
walking across to the one side, and if you have to get over to Hartshorn, you walk up and then you go back. That's really, you have to cut out this whole section here of walking through it, because it is that dangerous. I mean, you're talking on-ramp,
Big bridge.
off-ramp,
Yeah.
speeding, and all the other stuff. You almost have to have the walkway over there where the school is, go across the bridge on that side, and if they go up Cold Indian, they can walk up Cold Indian that way, or if they're going over to Hartshorn, go that way and then have the crosswalk back the other side. That's really the only way you can do it, unless you build a bridge completely over this stuff, and that's not happening either.
And there's no sidewalks on that.
So I can
side
do the
either.
study and I will charge
Well, it's gotta
25
be.
grand. I'll do it for nothing, I'm telling you.
You already did it.
I just did the study.
Sidewalk
Yeah.
up to
We'll send the
that.
tape.
So why don't I design this?
We're safe.
Not an engineer, but I'll
Yeah.
give him a shot at it.
So it will be there, and that'll be
The
the only
stick
piece
figure.
missing.
What do you do when a guy's got a beautiful
Yeah.
landscape
There's no other
thing
way.
that's hardwired with lights and all that, that
This
sort
is
of
no-
would be blocking the
that's a little
sidewalk?
one.
What do you do
This
with
is
that guy?
another, and
He's gotta move
exit
and he's gotta
from
pay for it.
18
It's in
over
our
Right,
here.
right.
there's nothing over
No,
here.
they
They're
have
not
to
happy
cross
with
over
us, but-
again.
Well, no, wait a minute.
Somebody
I
did
know a
that
guy's
on,
got some
There's
elaborate
another-
You gotta
things
come on
right there on
18.
Deer Road.
Yeah, There's 2 or
And
3
there's
of
this
them.
Yeah.
other,
Yeah, but you would be over here.
Got more.
Okay, you got more. Go for it.
So we also were talking about in previous meetings about our use and occupancy, the COs and everything, and how we wanted to proceed with that. So myself and a couple of department heads were looking up, we found Tom's River, who basically just does COs for residentials and just looks into the life and safety issues, which is more like the electric, all the UCC items to come in for inspection. Basically, fire, electric, maybe plumbing, things along those lines. Is that something that we still want to continue to investigate? Because then we'll pull together, like I said, we got Tom's River, we might have a couple more ordinances that we may look at that to present to the governing body to make introduction.
Does this process make things easier?
It will pare it down to just those things and not the vast items that we're looking at right now.
I like paring it down.
I
Both
like
ways.
paring it down, but being able to hold people accountable for what they're doing with the property. So I don't know where that
So-
balance is.
So, for instance, I'm not gonna sit here and read all of it,
Yeah.
but Tom's River has 23 things they look at, which goes from,
What do we look at?
I think we probably.
223.
We got a lot. We probably have a lot, probably at least double this.
Dave, can you,
And actually, that's what we need to do. Maybe we can do like a
That-
side by side.
can you
Yeah,
scan
comparison.
them and send them out to us?
Yeah.
Yeah. We might even do a step further, maybe do a side by side.
Okay.
Of just the inspection criteria.
You're looking at Tom's River and who else? As
Right now,
comparisons?
just Tom's River. We're looking around to see something else. We don't have another one yet, but we're still fishing around.
What about West Long Branch, anything in the general vicinity that's roughly our size?
It has, well, you gotta look for somebody who's paring it down, because not everybody our size is, they might be doing the same thing we're doing. They're
Right.
doing like 100, 200
Okay.
checklists.
So you're specifically looking at Tom's River because they're looking at paring this down?
Well, no, they already doing it.
They already
This is
pared
what
it
they
down.
do. They do, they make sure there's no unresolved building permits, zoning permits, the normal stuff. Utilities must be operational.
Yeah, because we're really
Tax
starting to jam
records.
people up selling their houses.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
On
then
the-
we got the furnace boiler certification.
At the last minute.
and-
On the, correct.
You have one today.
I did. Having said that, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. That was good. All right, go
If
ahead,
we
Dave.
have to go all the way to Tom's, I don't want to sound too cynical, but you blew it. I don't want to sound too cynical, but if we have to go all the way to Tom's River, find somebody that's paring them down, what does that tell you?
Tell you that
Maybe
they're
not
not
a
all
good
smart
idea.
like we are.
Well, they might have already
Well,
pared it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, then
They,
they know.
they've been doing this for a
I know
while.
a lot of
I mean,
towns don't do the full CO inspections.
Yeah.
Right,
Like Little Silver does not, Rumson does not.
right.
You know,
But
So
we-
we're looking
we
for
wanna
somebody
do
that
the
actually
CO.
does it,
We wanna
Rob.
do the.
So
Yeah,
it's
do
been
the
on.
safety-
A lot of these
safety
don't.
Right.
And fire. But really what you're looking at, not looking at is, and which is coming up in a lot of the inspections is, the guy that put walls in the basement, or he put an extra room in, he put an extra bathroom in.
So this is
Without
more
permits.
recent
Those
than
are
I
the things
thought.
that are- slowing you down.
This is like December 14, 2021.
But that's what we want to catch, no?
I think so.
Well, see, that's why we need to have a conversation. That's why I think the
It's-
side by side will
Right.
help us
That's,
out.
yeah. If it's, you know, what you gotta, really what you're analyzing is, do you wanna catch everybody doing things that they didn't get a permit for versus just looking at safety issues? Because do you have a problem with a guy that put an extra wall in his house, if he got the electric and everything was passed by the electrical inspector, but he didn't get a building permit to do it?
How would the inspector have done it without a permit?
Well, that's me, that's what this would go, the electrical guy would go in and say, yeah, it looks like everything was done in accordance with, we're out of here, as opposed to going in and saying, new wall here, you're failed, you're doomed, until you come in and file for a full permit. So it does get inspected from the
Okay.
safety point of view, but it doesn't get inspected from a permit point of view. I mean, it won't get, you know, escalated.
So if it's not safe, they'll cite him, they'll say, you have to make it safe, and then we'll give you the CO.
Right.
That's,
Yeah, I think it's
that
important
to
to
me is
focus on
streamlined,
safety
that's not a bad
first.
idea.
So let me ask,
Yeah.
just to follow up on that, and then I'll let it go.
Okay.
So if that wall created, I'm making this up, another bedroom, then what?
That's where you,
Then you
that's
send your
where
tax
the,
guy in. No.
Yeah.
That's where the rub
Code
is.
enforcement,
Okay,
yeah, that's.
just check, I want to make sure I
And it's
understand.
the same thing with moving into an attic, it's, you know, that's
Right.
in the basement, that's what you're talking about, but see, they will look at life safety things, if somebody put a bedroom in a basement, it doesn't have the escape window and all
Sure.
that,
Yeah,
it gets
that's
flagged.
not a problem.
Right.
But if it's just a wall in a basement, because it's divided into 2 rec areas and there's proper escape, they won't even get flagged.
Right, but on the main floor, if they did it, or the
Any
second
floor,
floor,
they won't get
right.
flagged,
Right.
as long as the safety issues are intact.
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Yeah, it'd be helpful to see the lists, you know.
Yeah, that's what I
listed.
think too. That's why I said I'll,
Yeah, I don't know if you
now
can
that I
cheapen
know,
this up too much.
I got the temperature of the room, now I know we got a little move forward, we'll do a little more digging and
Very
get
reason
some
when you require
comparables.
it, so maybe,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a tough.
people get
lesson, right?
creative.
Yeah.
My last item for this session is that we've been doing a lot of talking individually, and we have a lot of interest of opening up our cannabis licenses and increasing them, as we have a couple of, Jen Kremko was before us about 2 months ago now. So she contacted me recently, her client is still hoping that you would reconsider, and just, again, trying to get the temperature of the governing body on what direction you want the administration to move in.
I'm gonna go on the record right now, we are totally missing the boat. It's, no, it's, Dave, you got Neptune City that's as big as this table, okay? Just did 2 retail licenses in
I saw
Neptune
it.
City. People are, and we heard it in the interviews the other night by one of our candidates,
Mhm.
we're going to Eatontown or we're going to Neptune. You're going right through Ocean Township.
Place in Neptune is.
You're not gonna stop it, so you might as well jump on the bandwagon. I'm all for expanding it, adding an additional on those ones, adding the retail into it, and it'll be a good money grab for the town. That's my opinion.
I think expanding it to more businesses like the one that we heard about, like a smaller one, you know, I am definitely in favor for, I'm not necessarily in favor for expanding to retail yet. I just feel like it's a little
One.
early.
I'm a no on all.
Okay.
Haven't changed?
One
Okay.
way, one out.
Yeah,
Hmm.
kind of in this range.
Well, I've said this before, I don't want Route 35 to look like a honky tonk. I don't want it to be Weed R Us going right down the highway. Every one of these vape shops could, you know, theoretically turn into that. I would definitely want to zone it properly, put it up in the sandhills, of
Keep it the same zone.
keep it up in
Yeah.
That's
there.
what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
That's
Don't wanna
that's
touch that.
fine. I think maybe I would put my foot in the water and just maybe 1, 2, but I'm not looking for 5, 6.
No.
Just, you know, just
I'm
maybe
with you.
see how it goes, but I definitely, it's very important that we zone it in the right place. I don't want this.
And where is this zoned now? I'm
It's
ignorant
not,
on
we
this.
don't have retail today.
We have no
No,
retail.
no retail, but in terms of
But
the
the-
distribution,
yeah.
we are allowing
legislate
distribution
the-
center and manufacturing and cultivation.
Yeah.
Already.
Just not retail. And we
We just
only
don't want
allowed
Route
for
35 to
one
become
application, so we're only allowing one
Typically,
to be in Ocean Township.
Okay.
So one possibility is to open it up to more, maybe 2 or 3 smaller businesses. We had heard a presentation a few weeks ago about a business, a potential business that sounded very reasonable.
So the people that are manufacturing and stuff, they're doing what with it as opposed to not selling it in retail?
They send it to retail shops, other
There's
places.
6 licenses. Matt, actually, just briefly go over that with Kelly
Yeah.
so that she
State allows 6 classes. You can be a cultivator is a class 1, I think a distributor, it might be class 3, manufacturing, class 2. There's retail, that's class 5. There's delivery, that's class 6, and I know I'm missing one of them.
Transportation.
Wholesaler. Yeah.
Because I'm looking at.
There's no real crossover, so like the cultivators can't sell it.
Gotcha.
So everybody has to kind of stay in their lane.
In their lane, okay.
So from a municipality sense, you get to decide what you want in town, how many licenses you want to give in town, where you want to put them in town. So the rub is that every 5 years, you can
Change your mix.
subtract. Well, you can subtract, maybe. That's not been challenged yet, but so once you add, you can't take back. If you say you allow 2 retail licenses now, you haven't handed them out, and then 5 years down, or at least when the 5-year period ends, you can rescind that as long as you haven't handed it out.
But once
So-
they're out, they're good. and
Well,
they
once
can
you've
stay.
handed it to somebody, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to claw it back.
But they can change, they can sell it to somebody?
No.
Or it's just them?
It's going to be it's kind of like an ABC license where you're going to get state's going to be handing it out, and when the state says, where are you doing this, here's our safety plan, here's where we're putting it, and you have to tell the state that the municipality that you want to put it in has agreed and allows it where you want to put it in. So you're not, okay, I'm going to take it and next week I'm going to move it down to the other area. It's pretty much a site place, and if you want to move it, you're going to have to make all the applications and such.
Okay.
The township has allowed the cultivating, the manufacturing, the warehouse, and the distribution. And it's all up in what I call the hinterlands. It's up, the Seaview Square area.
Exactly. That's it's in the industrial area.
Industrial park.
And
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
So,
on
and that's
35, not.
But now
what-
what,
Here,
Cobblestone
what we're
Village,
talking about
yes.
is letting somebody open a storefront, in essence, right? Is that what we're talking
Either
about?
allowing more than just one license, because right now we agreed to only just giving out one license. Maybe
To a retailer.
allowing,
No,
no
no,
realtor,
no.
only
Retail is not
distributor.
Okay.
Or distributor, cultivator,
Yeah.
manufacturer, people.
We
who-
don't have transportation and retail.
Yeah, so
That's it.
making the.
What's the
not a
difference
realtor.
between a distributor and retailer? Who's
Oh,
who's he
The
distributing to?
distributor takes it from the warehouse and gets it to
Neptune to sell.
Yes.
gets it to the retailer.
It's not a
The
storefront.
retailer
It's like
sells.
within.
Okay.
Grow it in Ocean, sell it in Neptune.
Got you. Okay. So what we're talking about now
So
is
I-
whether we
I
want to
don't get
let
why we're not
somebody
doing
sell it here.
Like a retail store,
That's
or
part two of it,
open,
'cause
there's, yeah.
We have 4 licenses now. We have cultivation, manufacturing, wholesaler, distributor. 1 license each. Of those 1 license each, the cultivator and the manufacturer we already gave out.
Okay.
And one of them was approved, correct, Jesse?
Yeah.
We got the approval from the state.
Right.
The other one, we're still waiting to hear back for approval,
Right.
which leaves open the wholesaler and distributor. So the question is, do you want to increase cultivator, manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor? And then the second question is, do you want to add retailer? My vote right now on retailer is not good. So I'm hearing yes, no, no, and I think you might have been a no on retail.
Well, I'm a yes with restrictions.
He doesn't want 5. I'm with him on 2. I'll limit
Okay.
it on 2.
Okay, that's the number of licenses.
Yeah.
I'm just right now making sure, see who wants to do it
I'm
or not.
for a limit.
Okay.
I don't think we need any more grow facilities. I don't think we need any of that stuff. I mean,
Well, they have
They
the
haven't even opened
micros,
yet.
so you can do the micros if we approve the additional licenses on that, Matt?
You can say we're handing out 1 regular and 1 micro.
I think we should do that. I think we should, I like a small business idea, that's a.
So if we did micro, we add 1 of each, and we throw in the retail, but are the retails micro also, or are they, so they're micro also? Those are small businesses as well. So we're gonna grow it here and distribute it all over the place, but we're not gonna sell it in our own town. That's,
Unless you sell it up.
well, you're gonna sell it in Eatontown, they're gonna get the
No,
tax.
no, I mean retail. If we were
Yeah.
to agree to retail, it would be up there.
But Eatontown's not manufacturing it, and Neptune City's not manufacturing it.
No, but there's plenty of money to
Just
go around.
it's all kind of also based the state. is not handing out
Right.
these things to every single person that comes in, hey, you want, it's kind of like a liquor license, where they're limited numbers. I think even the cultivators are limited to 37 at this
Yeah,
point.
it is capped.
It is capped. Even the numbers, it's my understanding that they are looking, they're looking to see how many in whatever region, like the central region, the north region, the southern region, when they're handing out these licenses. So you can say, we'd love 100 of them, that the state's gonna say, yeah, we don't care how many you want.
It's
You know,
been an
here's where we're going.
incredibly slow process. I mean, even for us over here, we've got the manufacturer and the cultivator. They haven't even gotten up and running, and it's been, I mean, and they're still.
I was gonna
running,
say, do
right?
we have any revenue from them yet?
Not
I don't
yet.
even know if they're close to even being
They
breaking
can't,
ground.
they won't be
Oh,
able to
you
get
know.
revenue
No,
up and
no.
running because they're a big facility. That's why what Margie's saying is if you go with one of the micros, they can get up and running a lot
Pretty
quicker
quick,
than
yeah.
this facility. This is gonna be a massive facility up here. The micros are smaller and they can get up and running a lot quicker and generate the revenue and start getting us a tax base.
The revenue just is, the municipality's allowed to charge 2% on the sales for everybody but warehousing, which I think is wholesaling, sorry, which I think is 1%. And that is paid them directly to CFO I think on a quarterly basis. So that's the income.
You're right, Coach.
Matt, there's no tax on medicinal marijuana, is that true?
Correct.
I think that's.
Oh, and there's a delivery, which is
Still no, they
slightly,
got more bars.
you can't stop delivering in town.
Yeah.
So that's, but in terms of a class of a delivery, it's like I say, a taxi service.
That's not to say
You're
it's not a-
you're not granting a license
Mostly.
to, for
Mostly.
the home base
But,
of the,
hey.
delivery in Ocean. But anybody can order from wherever it is, and they're allowed to drive in. You can't bar them at the town line.
So you can get Uber weed, and the town doesn't get a dime for that.
And that's under the distribution piece.
That's under.
No, that's
delivery.
under a different that's a delivery class. It's a class 6.
Okay,
delivery.
so
We
it's
didn't
not
allow
one-
that.
Huh?
We didn't vote for that, we said
Okay.
no on that. But yet you could still get it delivered here,
Yeah, you know why?
we just get no revenue.
I got
for
it.
that.
But if we did retail, we would.
It's a separate thing, I guess it's a separate
Mhm.
license, you know? So we have to decide if we want to do whatever we want to do.
So what would it require if we were to move forward? I mean, Cal, where are you right now on this?
I'm leaning maybe to yes, but like you said, and like you said, I don't want
Well, limit
weed
the
to
number.
go and all that. Like, I don't want to see it. I just don't.
Right.
I'm not a fan.
So Matt, what would it require to, if we wanted to add the micros into, we just do an amendment on the ordinance?
Essentially, yeah. The other question I think needs to be answered is, I didn't know this when I was drafting, but there are other zones up in the CV square. It's light industrial, and then there's some kind of commercial. It's a specific commercial that have a couple of parcels up there. If you want to, the question is expanding all of the, all of the licenses that we allow in those other parcels. I mean, we're still talking up there, up Sunset and at the top there. It just happens to be that a couple of them are zoned differently.
The zoning's in here too.
Hmm?
The zoning's in
Nah, well, when I drafted it, I limited it to the industrial zone, but there are parcels up there that somehow are sprinkled in, which are not zoned, which are zoned in a commercial. I can't remember what they are exactly.
I think they're
Is there one?
surrounding the mall.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a couple of
Across the
random
street
ones.
from the mall.
Yeah.
The green room.
it was something like an ESS I saw.
Yeah, it's RSSR,
Yeah,
RSSR.
Yes, yeah.
All right, so let's look into it. I mean, we can,
Can I ask what brought this up all of a sudden? Like,
here. I've got Jen Crumco calling me every day, texting me. There was another vendor.
I had Best of all reach out to me.
And some of the council people were asking about it too.
so we don't have enough for what they want? Because I.
Oh, yeah, because I believe Jen Crumco's client is looking for either
Right, she's-
cultivation or the that's why they want
Right,
to
right.
change it.
But she's
That-
looking at a micro.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest,
Yeah.
I was very impressed with that presentation and that business, and the fact that she's a local person, you know, I really, and I know that if we open it up, it's not necessarily gonna be that person, but I think there's more out there that would be a plus to Ocean Township, not a negative.
I don't
But
see
having
why
said that,
those-
there's a lot of people who are not in favor of
Even though they
having
say it's-
retail, which I respect.
it's
I mean, personally, it doesn't matter to me one way or the other, but I'm hearing,
Control.
And the problem
Big
is,
time.
Yeah.
the way the
There's
crow
a certain
flies, there's
group
people over
that's,
there,
like,
that roller
really
road
against
section,
it,
they're
so.
gonna be furious.
start low and go slow.
No, there's odor control.
I know.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's
add
what I
a-
think that makes sense.
add a
No, I
micro
mean,
on-
it's
I
even
think we
the-
add a
even the
micro
state-
on
even
the,
it's-
what we, the
that's not even
licenses
just
we've
the local,
already
but the state-
opened it up
I
to,
don't see why
and
we don't put a
then,
couple retail up there too.
Cultivate would be the problem.
I don't know if anybody would even wanna put a retail up there.
You know what the problem is that we have never
Behind
even
Kane- I
given
like
this
the
thing a
idea
chance
behind
yet. And, you know, now all of a sudden everybody wants more and more and more. We haven't even broke ground on this place
well, that's
yet.
because it's such a big
Everybody doesn't
facility.
want more.
I think,
Everybody doesn't
yeah.
want more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's like, we haven't even given this a shake yet.
So we need to.
But I like the smaller business idea too, like we're, I like having that open to smaller,
Like Matt said,
smaller.
there's only 37 in the state.
Small
Doesn't mean
businesses.
Ocean's getting them.
Right, true.
And the slow roll that's been going on.
I wonder how, in the big scheme of things, some of these small operators, though they sound wonderful on paper, then all of a sudden they gotta compete with the Pepsi or Coke of marijuana. And next thing you know, Altria or they just, I wonder statistically if they fail as businesses, like what goes on in Colorado. Can the little guy compete with Altria and Corona or whoever owns the bigger facilities? They are, the beer companies are in the weed business, by the way.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
The costs associated with the licenses are also different for the micros versus the majors. So
To
like-
even the playing field a little.
Yeah, like I think it's for say for like a cultivator, it's like $100,000 a year license, but for a micro, it might be like $10,000. So there is that.
So whether you have the
state
big or the small, there's a limit.
The state is only handing out certain number of licenses for each class, and with-
Regardless of which level.
uh,
Like our cultivator.
The cultivator, I know, is by statute 37 for like 2 years.
Whether
They'll
they're a
figure
big
out-
one or a micro. 37 is
There's
it.
no micro cultivate, is there?
I'm not, there might be,
Yeah, there is.
it might not be on a micro, but again, the state is essentially, and again, they've been so backwards, it's very slow and they haven't exactly explained what they're doing in terms of how this decision is, but they're looking to see whether or not the demand. So they're not going to be outstripping the demand with the supply, so they're balancing all of that. So if they're showing that, okay, what's your analysis, and everybody's got warehouses full, and nobody, and you can't sell it, then they're gonna say, okay, we're not handing out licenses for cultivation anymore, or we're gotta hand out more retail licenses or things like that. So the
Keeping it
state's
balanced.
essentially balancing it, theoretically.
Right.
Just to, can we shift topics real quick? I know, was the golf utility discussion for this time, or was that, we're gonna talk about?
Yeah, we should, because it's on for introduction
We
tonight.
have an ordinance
Yeah,
on tonight.
oh, okay, so
Yeah.
there's nothing to
I'm actually done, so if we're
Oh,
done with
okay.
cannabis, I'm done.
Okay, so, can
For
you just,
now, anyway.
can you describe that, like how that just the mechanics of how that works, making it a utility versus a,
Basically, it just puts it in its own financial box, we'll call it.
okay,
And everything, all the revenues, all the salary wages, all the other expenses will be in that box and outside of our main
budget, okay.
And then it will be self-sustaining, or it will generate its own debt,
Mhm.
and it's almost like if we talked about with the sewer, if we bought the sewer over, it become a sewer utility.
Mhm.
And then all those employees and all the
Mhm.
equipment and everything would be in that sewer
Mhm.
utility box.
Does there have to be like a board elected for that or anything like that? Is that
No,
not-
no, because it's just coming under, I think the ordinance clearly, it's under the township manager.
Mhm.
If
So
you
it would
want
be
it
under
to.
my
Oh, I
department,
see.
yeah.
Okay,
But honestly, it'll be run by recreation.
run by recreation, okay.
So what happens
It's more a
if it-
financial thing then?
Yeah, it's really, you got it.
Mhm.
It's more of a financial.
Similar to a
maneuver.
beach utility, the way they work?
Same
the way they
thing.
operate.
Okay,
Yep.
all
I think
right.
mostly what it does, it allows them to not have to go through the annual budgets to get money to do things. You know, 'cause
They can
make
afford it,
money.
they do it.
Yeah, they can
Money
incur their
do
own
it, or they
debt,
can
so.
borrow money to do things knowing they're gonna get paid
And-
back, whereas opposed now to do things, they have to wait for the budget to be passed and.
And then the
Right, right, right.
premises for this also is the,
The golf cave?
Exactly.
Yeah, so
To the
the
right.
building
What was that,
on,
Marge?
the golf
Golf
cave.
cave, yeah.
So the building on the golf course has, we're, like, just, you know, learning, I'm trying to figure out what it can be used for, and one of the
Mm.
things
You're
is
gonna need like, what, 1.6 million or so, somewhere in that
to
ballpark?
outfit it, so for, to become like a golf cave, which is like a virtual golf
Yeah,
place where people,
simulator, like
simulator,
that.
I don't know. So, yeah, so people can go and, in the winter and
Yeah.
have parties and, you know,
Well,
practice.
and-
All year round, but it's.
All year round,
And
but
then
most
it'll-
people will use it in the
in the
winter.
winter.
And it'll get
Off-season,
revenue through the years, but
Right.
upfront, we need to borrow
Put
like
up.
1.6 to.
Stand it up.
Yeah.
Get the renovations going in the building and buy the equipment to actually have the simulators in there and the little vending area that we plan for, things like that. So then that all will be separate and apart in its own budget.
So what happens if
That's
this
great.
thing starts creating a lot of debt? Then what happens?
Then it's separate from us, which also kind of gives us a little insulation. But that's, obviously, we don't want to run it
Yeah.
into the,
You can
Into the
close
red.
golf course.
Does the golf course turn a profit at this point? Are we still?
yeah, golf course did really well this year. I don't have the numbers, well, actually, we might have the numbers in front of us.
Yeah, I think they were doing very well.
It's not separate and apart from the township, so it's just more of a financial thing, so it's not like it can
So
go
it sinks or
wild.
swims on its own.
But it's most, I think, it's a financial thing that doesn't have to come under the budget every year.
I see,
Okay.
yeah.
It just frees that whole thing, because it puts stress on the
35
CFO.
grand more.
Right, to
Right now,
figure
when
out
we're asking
how
for
to-
$1.7 million.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
We're on our cap, we can't fit
It
it.
can be our own.
We're over in revenues. We anticipated 371, we got 407 in, so we're 109.67%. So we're almost 10% above what we anticipated.
Golf is lucrative.
And is that profit though, Dave?
I don't
doesn't
like to
touch.
use the term profit in government, so I'm gonna say no. But it just, that will end up.
Was it higher than
it'll-
our-
Positive,
above
it's a
our cost?
positive
Yes,
revenue.
yeah, it'll go, and that's, I'm saying that without looking
not
at
a-
the expense
it's a
side,
net
'cause
cost.
the
Right.
expense could be high, I don't know.
That's
yet.
why I'm
I
asking.
gotta turn the page.
Yeah.
But it essentially go into next year's, budget to be programmed out. So it's not like, cause a lot of people think, oh, I got all this extra money, I'm gonna do all these things. No, you're not. It doesn't work that way. So,
Probably a good thing. Still want to get on the golf board though.
There is no golf.
Come on. Just humor
we
me.
can have a utility advisory committee.
There you go.
Chairman of the golf board.
We have any other items? Jack, you got anything for us?
The only thing I can say about is that this last discussion on the marijuana is that I think you should consider what the cost is, not just how much big bucks you're gonna make out of selling it, but from some tax of 2%. And I don't think that'll even pay for the additional cups that you're gonna need to run the thing safely. I think also that what has been avoided is an understanding of what the impact is on the health of our people in our environment. And there's enough information that says kids between 15 and 25 years old, if they get into this stuff, they are in big health problems. That's a whole area, health-wise, that has completely been overlooked by Trenton. But I'm not even sure if Trenton has many. I wonder if the governor's kids all, never mind. I think the answer is, we don't talk about those things. I think that if we opened it up to some of these other areas that I've talked about, and got somebody that knew what the hell using drugs was all about, we might come up with some different answers. I remember a problem when I was doing newspaper stuff where the town of West Lawbridge was asked to do some things, and what they didn't even know is that one of the Wawas, one of those little type of stores like that, was selling this crap, and nobody was even policing it, because they didn't realize that that stream of kids that were walking to that store each night were there to get up, not just loaves of bread and quarts of milk, but other things that were available there. So I think you gotta look deeper, and I think you gotta look with your heart as well as just your pocketbook. It ain't worth it to me to see a kid die because we decided we were making enough profit off it as a town, I wouldn't vote for it. Sorry to be so long-winded.
No, we appreciate your comments, Jack, totally.
I think it's something that should be discussed at the council level as well, at the council meeting level at some point.
Absolutely. If anybody can bring that up, Jack, if it does come up for an ordinance amendment,
Public
it's,
hearing.
it's public time.
You need public time before you decide to even create an
But
ordinance.
that's where the discussion would happen, Jack. I mean, we've,
A 5-minute limitation would impact that, I'm
well,
sure.
we could expand that.
I'm just trying to
Right.
encourage you to think a little deeper than what I think is doing on. And I'm not criticizing you. I think you're working with what you're given from Trenton and from wherever else it comes from.
I think, Jack, the thing is, it's, you know, the horse left the gate. And the thing is, what I'm saying is,
You don't have to
No.
go to the racetrack.
you're right, but at the same time, you know, you've got the facilities that are available on each side of us. We're basically sandwiched in here. That's my point. They're gonna leave the town to go either way. Look, this is a council of 5. I'm one person. It's my opinion. It's another generating revenue stream for us that we're always looking for to keep taxes stable. We don't want to see a rise in taxes. Everybody's always asking us
If that is a
to
tax
come up.
issue, I am definitely against it. If it's just to make more money, because you ain't gonna make that much, and I don't even know what your cost assessment has been. What's it gonna cost you to make this much more money?
Cost us?
Yeah,
Doesn't cost us anything.
does it? So the police never get more involved and they don't, stuff like that? There's nothing to worry about? The health of the individual families in this town is not to be considered at all?
No, absolutely,
Because they're
100%, Jack.
doctors? Just wasting what goes through my mind when I think about this.
Yeah, I had made a suggestion a while back of using like a percentage of the application fee to do education, that, you know, individuals under 25 years old, it impacts their health
That was a
negatively.
suggestion I made about 5 years ago when this was all coming out.
So,
I'm all for it.
Schools, I think, are starting to get into teaching about the dangers of this thing. That hasn't been around for a while. I think the schools are starting to take up the mantle of that, doing that.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
Okay? Sorry.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas the public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist now, therefore be it resolved by the Township of Ocean, the town in the county of Monmouth, as follows. The public shall be excluded from discussion of an action upon where and after specified subject matters. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows: litigation, personnel, and other litigation with various properties. Do I have somebody make a motion? Going to closed?
motion?
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Roll call, Jesse?
Mayor Napletani?
Thank you. Here.
Councilmember Chair?
Here.
Donlin?
Here.
Fisher?
Please stand for a pledge to the flag, and when we're done, stand there while we do a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The notice requirements for the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied, and a copy of the notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and has been filed with the municipal clerk on December 9th, 2021. There are 2 emergency exits. To my right, there are 2 that'll take you to the front of the building, and 1 to my left that'll take you to the rear. Please turn off all cell phones. If you need to make a call, kindly walk outside, make the call outside. We are going to start off this evening before we begin our council business. Tonight we have something very special going on. We are making the appointment of a new council person to replace Mayor Christopher Siciliano, who recently resigned. I want to say that we're making history tonight in the Township of Ocean. I am very, very pleased to announce that we will be appointing our second woman to the council at the same time that we all sit up here. So I think that this council is to be really commended at pushing for this today, and we are making an outstanding addition to this council this evening. I also want to thank the 4 other candidates that were by far outstanding as well. It was a very, very difficult decision to make. They were all very well qualified. I want to thank each and every one that came to the council. So without further ado, I would like to entertain a motion for the appointment to the council vacancy due to the resignation of Christopher P. Siciliano. Can I have somebody please make that for me?
I would like to make a motion to appoint Kelly Terry to the council position.
Do I have a second?
I'll gladly second.
Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, let's go down. We're going to come down off the dais first. Kelly, are you bringing up
I'm sorry?
that?
Oh, we're taking a picture for them too?
And we're having, I guess I should get on the mic though for this one.
I don't know what you're doing.
Get the line down here.
He's so new.
Yes, it will, sir.
All right, we are very, very pleased to have Kelly up here. I have Pop coming up to hold the Bible for her. And we're doing something a little different tonight with the swearing in of Kelly and the mayor right after this. We are doing a very bipartisan swearing in where we have Senator Vin Gopal from the 11th District, along with Commissioner Director Tommy Arnone, who will be administering the oath of office to Kelly. All right, let's see how this gets done, Phil. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people.
And I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the position of council member according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Oh my goodness. Gotta do it up here.
I do it on the.
Now listen to our attorney.
Chris always used to check the mics before the meeting started to make sure they worked.
Did it work?
Just letting you know, Chris used to check.
Well, I'm gonna have to check them from now on. Welcome aboard, Kelly. You have the best seat in the house. That's the one that Billy Garofalo told me that the camera doesn't pick up, so you're lucky. I would like to call for a nomination for mayor of the Township of Ocean.
I would like to make a motion for John Napolitani to be mayor of Ocean Township.
Second.
I would like to second that motion.
Motion to close the nominations for mayor.
Oh, never even thought of that.
I'd like to make a motion to close the nomination for mayor.
Second.
I would like to second that.
Okay, roll call.
Chair,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Napoli.
Yes. You forgot Terry.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Doing good tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hey, John, for the record, that was a motion to close nomination. We didn't vote.
We didn't vote yet.
It's just.
That was a motion to
let's
close
just
the
make it
nominations.
Maybe we should open it back up again.
Slide
I don't
right in
know.
there.
We should open it up back up again. right?
Yeah, motion to open up the nominations.
You want to read that? Go ahead.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Ocean that John Napoli
Senior.
is hereby appointed mayor of the Township of Ocean for a term expiring on June 30th, 2023.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
I will second that motion.
Roll call.
Chair,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Terry. Yes. Napoli.
Yes.
Congratulations.
From up here, I would like my two children that are here. I believe, did Julia make it? Yes. And Nick, come on up. You're going to hold the Bible. And you're going to stand near the senator and the commissioner director with me. Swear me in now.
I'm glad that you keep it nice and short.
Yes.
They're going to challenge my memory.
I keep it nice and short.
It's balanced. But see, if you're kind of new to it, then it's not hardcore politics.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, John Napoli,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority
under the authority
of the people.
of the people.
I do further
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
and justly perform
all the duties
of the position of mayor according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mayor.
Maybe we use that picture for the calendar. Yes. She's killing me.
That's a great idea.
I'm serious. I wasn't I was not kidding. I was not kidding.
What's that?
The picture for the calendar, you just took it.
It's good.
So, I was making a run for it already.
Before we begin council reports, I just want to make a statement. First of all, I want to thank our county clerk, Christine Hanlon, for coming tonight, Assemblywoman Kim Olner and Marilyn Paperno from the 11th District, Senator Gopal, and Commissioner Director Thomas Arnone. Very, very good friends. I'm glad that you guys both came. I'm truly humbled tonight that my colleagues have chosen me to lead the council for the next 7 or 8 months. And this doesn't come as a person who is next in line, but more of a person who has been in a collaborative manner for the betterment of the Township of Ocean, as I have been on a journey for over 30 years in several positions, serving on the Deal Lake Commission, as an Interlake and Borough Councilman, and on the Zoning Board of Adjustment. I wouldn't be here tonight if it wasn't for my good friend, and he's sitting in the back, Bob Napoli, who taught me back in 1999 when we ran together that it's all about representing the people that you get elected by, that it's not about your party affiliation. That's specifically why I had Tom and Vin swear me in tonight. Two different parties coming together to join with us today in a nonpartisan town, because that's what it's all about. I am truly, truly honored that they were here tonight to do this, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. I want to especially thank my wife, Michelle. You're the rock behind me. As you know, there's always a strong woman behind a man, so I give her a lot of the credit. She is dealing with a lot of this in this aspect of my life, and I truly appreciate what she does for me and how much she does accomplish within our household with all 5 kids that we have, 2 of which are here tonight. The other 3 are working and in school, so unfortunately they couldn't be here tonight. I want to thank Julie and Nick for holding the Bible and being here tonight. It does mean a lot to me. I want to thank my mom, who isn't here, unfortunately, due to some health issues, as well as my dad, who couldn't be here because he's not around anymore, but he would be truly proud. I want to thank my second mother, Bonnie Cohen, for coming tonight, and Rich. You guys have always been there by my side. And I want to thank the Hurricane for canceling your trip so that you could be here tonight. Otherwise, they weren't coming, and Kelly wasn't supposed to be here either. And of course, I want to thank my in-laws who are here as well, Bob and Arlene. You've been very supportive of me. I know, Bob, I still have your daughter under a spell. You keep say it over and over again. I thank all my friends and family that are here tonight. This is truly a positive thing for the Township of Ocean, because without the support of all our friends and family here, we wouldn't be able to do what we can as elected officials up here on the dais. Kelly was a little apprehensive to take the position, but she is by far the best choice and will do an excellent job on council as she joins the 4 of us up here to make the decisions for the Township of Ocean. And we will continue to move this township in an extremely positive direction over the next 7 or 8 months. Thank you. So, the purpose, actually, I have council comments first, then public comments. Yeah. Yeah, we can do a recess if anybody wants to. We'll take a little pause, and if anybody wants to skedaddle out, unless you want to stay.
Right on it, he's out of here.
Devin's gone. Senator, would you like to say a few words before we open it up for at the microphone?
Just congratulations to the mayor, Kelly. I've known her a long time. They're 2 incredible people on the council. Thank you, God bless you.
Thank you, Senator, for being here. Commissioner Director.
So again, to reiterate Vin's words there, I just want to say you picked a great choice. All of you that sat together and collaborated with this choice. It's the best for the town. As we know, she's got a passion. She has a passion. She drives it. And for the fan, and I think most of the family left, but it's just a great thing for us to town. For you, John, we go way back.
Yes.
And I know that you have a passion for this world. And you have to have a passion for this world to do this crazy world. But at the end of the day, you are worried about Ocean Township, and that's your focus along with your colleagues. And I think you have a great team up there, doing great things for Ocean Township, and Ocean Township's a good answer.
Thank you, Mr. Director. And our assemblywomen.
We're gonna wait till public comments since everybody's on the phone.
Okay, you know what? We're actually going to do that in a minute. Do you want to wait, or do you up it? You can come up too, at the microphone.
You approach the bench.
Absolutely.
So, we're not stopping at the moment. Working moms, you gotta make it really fun and embrace a proud, happy moment. So.
Thank you,
Dr.
Assemblywoman.
Massey, congratulations.
I appreciate that.
A few balloons to
Thank
say something special.
Late
and
night meetings.
For those
Oh,
late night
this
meetings.
one might want to crack open now.
And for all the agita that happens.
Looks like Maker's.
The
Looks
mayor.
like Maker's.
So, we're gonna need this and
Yes.
that.
Pepto-Bismol, for sure. I might hand this one down to Kelly. She's new.
Kelly, congratulations. We really look forward to working with you. And just for everybody are the new assemblywomen, as the mayor pointed out, and we have to thank everybody on this council in particular. From minute one, open arms to us, very kind, very loving, very helpful. So you have such a tremendous community in Ocean Township, and we are thrilled to be an extension of that. So we look forward to just keeping up the good work and doing even more. Thank you guys all.
Thank you, ladies. We totally appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I don't want to forget one of my mother's oldest and dearest friends in the front row from Asbury Park, Rita Morano, the one and only. You cannot not know Rita. Thank you for coming, Rita. She doesn't miss a thing. All right, council comments. Let's start down with our newest elected official or appointed official, Kelly.
General comments?
General comments.
Okay, so basically, I just want to say how honored I am to serve. I hope to do right by everybody in town. I'm thankful to be considered bipartisan. I'm glad that you were here to represent me and help me through this journey. I look forward to learning from my colleagues. I am brand new to politics, even though I've been working for the Department of the Army for 29 years. I am new to this side of business, so I expect to learn. I hope to ramp up quickly. I hope to represent the interests of the entire community of Ocean Township, and I'm just grateful to be here. Thank you for putting your confidence in me.
I just want to say congratulations and welcome. I'm thrilled to have another woman on the council. I can't believe it's 2022 and it's the first time we're having 2 women in Ocean Township Council. And it is the first. It's history making. So I'm happy that you're a part of that. And congratulations to our new mayor, John Napolitani. Well deserved, and look forward to continuing to work with you. And just a note for this weekend, there is the Deal Lake Watershed Deal Lake Watershed Cleanup on Saturday from 9 a.m. till about noon. Everybody's meeting at the boat launch in front of 7-Eleven in Asbury Park. So come out for that. I think it's going to be really nice weather.
Dave.
So, Kelly, I'd like to congratulate you and welcome you to the council. Kelly and I are both from the class of 85, which obviously we're well represented here. I'm sure some of our teachers are shaking their head, but they're probably smiling too. But congratulations. I also want to congratulate our new mayor, John Napolitani. John, congratulations. I know this has been on your thought process for a long time, and I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so just a quick note from the planning board. We did approve an interesting little business. So Floor Decor is coming to Ocean Township. They're a national chain. They employ somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 60 jobs, and that'll be going into the old Food Town facility. So that's a good hit for Ocean Township, and we welcome them, and it's going to be a nice addition to the area. And that's all I've got.
Also, congratulate Kelly. Congratulations, John. Looking forward to working with both of you and possibly running with all of you. Chamber of Commerce, last chance to get tickets. Comedy night next Friday, February, November the 18th, 6 o'clock over at the Renaissance. Tickets are going fast. There's only a handful of tickets left. If you are interested, you can go to the website, gotcc.com, or you can call the office and get tickets there. Looking forward to seeing everybody. It's always sellout. It's always fun. 3 comedians, all the food you can eat, all the drinking you can have.
Very nice.
For $85? Hold on, let me get the right number. 95. 85 if you did it last week. 95 now.
Dave. Thank you, Mayor. Just want to congratulate the new councilwoman and the mayor, and I look forward to working with everybody. And we do have a good team. I was talking to the municipal clerk, Jesse, earlier, and we have to make some seating arrangements here, because if you're looking at us right now, we got all the men on one side, all the women on the other side. So I might move my seat to the other side to balance this out. But good team up here. I love working for the township, and thank you all, and I look forward to working with everybody. And Matt.
Oh, I'm just going to short and sweet like lawyers usually are, but congratulations to our new council member. Congratulations to the new mayor.
Thank you. All right, the purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions to understand resolutions that appear on the agenda, and it's not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. So if you have any questions in regard to the agenda, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing here none, I Resolutions 1 through 3. Can I have someone please offer?
I'd like to offer the resolutions 1 through 3, 1, 2, and 3.
Second?
I'll second. I'm sorry, are we doing these in, they're not individual. Okay, I am voting no on resolution 1. I've had the conversation with Dave. I've had the conversation with the council. This is an important position. I think Dave is more than qualified. I think he is got the best interest of the town. He's worked for the town for a number of years, but there is a conflict, and I need to vote no based on the conflict.
Clarify what Dave.
Clarify what?
What Dave?
Dave Miller. Why? There's two?
No, just let everyone doesn't know what you're talking about.
It's on the agenda.
Just never mind.
I'm sorry. Should I, did I say it wrong?
No.
Okay. Oh, I don't have a conflict with this Dave. I'm happy with this Dave.
Now he gets it.
I got it. All right.
And you
I'm
got
sorry.
a Dave sitting over there.
Oh, no.
Surrounded
No,
by
we're good.
Daves,
I got
man.
it. No, I got it. I'm sorry. Rough crowd.
So, Rob, you're no on 1
resolution
and yes on 2 and 3.
Yes.
Chair, except for one, except for resolution 22-208. you're
Correct.
voting no. 22-209 and 22-10.
Yes.
22-10.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Donna?
A yes on all 3.
Fisher?
Yes on all 3.
Terry?
Yes on all 3.
Naplatani?
Yes on all 3. Individual action. Vouchers in the amount of $11,180,626.83. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I will second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Individual action. Resolution 22-211. Authorize the confirmation of the assessments for curbs, sidewalks, and driveway aprons along various roadways within the township in conjunction with ordinance number 2356. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Second once again. Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 22-212, accepting a bequest from the estate of Sheldon H. Berger to be used at the Township of Ocean Library in the amount of $150,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second. Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes. Resolution 22-213, authorizing the transfer of appropriations in the fiscal year 2022 budget. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinances. We are going to read our introduction of ordinance number 2403. And Jesse, please read it.
An ordinance providing for the right-of-way vacation associated with North Ditmar Drive in the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey.
Someone please offer the introduction of ordinance 2403.
I'd like to offer the introduction of ordinance 2403.
Someone second.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. Ordinance 2404. Jesse, please read.
An ordinance of the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, authorizing the private sale of non-conforming real property known as Block 17, Lot 66.01, to a contiguous property owner pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13B5.
Someone please introduce ordinance 2404.
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2304.
Second.
I'm sorry, 2404.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. And introduction of ordinance 2405. Jesse, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 16 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Parks and Recreation.
Someone please introduce ordinance 20. What do you got? Another one? 2405.
I'd like to introduce ordinance 2405.
Okay. Second.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Terry? Yes. Naplatani?
Yes. And these ordinances will have their public hearing at our December 8th meeting. Now I'd like to open it up for public comments. This is a time where you can stand up, make comments about the town, anything germane to the Township of Ocean. It doesn't have to be agenda items. It can be anything at this point. Please come up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hold on, let me get the clock started.
Yeah.
She does talk.
We might waive that one.
As the county clerk and Ocean Township resident, I'm so pleased to be here tonight and congratulate you, John and Kelly. Congratulate you. Welcome to the council. I love seeing you all up there. I think you're all in it for the right reasons and you really care about the town. So congratulations. Happy to see you all this evening. Want to give a shout out to Matt. It's great to see you up there too. Matt's a terrific lawyer. And I'm happy to see you there. David, you're doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, Madam
For
Clerk.
our town. And Jesse, you did an amazing job as our clerk. And you just hit the ground running after Vinny retired. I know it was stressful, but it's a pleasure to work with you and with all the other municipal clerks. So I just wanted to congratulate all of you. Kelly, Commissioner Arnone and I host a municipal official seminar every January. So if you're interested, be on the lookout for our invitation for that. That's all. Congratulations.
Thank you, Christine, for being here. Any other comments? Mr. Miller.
Mr. Mayor. Terry, you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Marty, Dave, Bob, Dave. My name's David Miller. I'd just like to thank the mayor and the council for the appointment to the Sewer Authority Board. And anything and everything that I do will be for the best interest of the town.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
And thank you for your service on there. Any other comments? Seeing here none, motion to adjourn.
Motion to close.
Motion to close. Oh, motion to close public hearing. Wait, now, motion to adjourn.
We're gonna go right in?
Huh?
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Normally you open and close the public session. I forgot you guys.
Someone
you guys
please
do it.
make the motion. Second.
Yes.
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 Terry? Yes.
Yes.
Gotta get this guy under control.